Welcome back to the Tech Shack, to another low quality video. Now today we have the Ryzen 9 5900 XT, 16 cores, 32 threads here in the shack. Now this is going in my personal workstation. Alright, I currently have a 5800X3D that originally came into the shop on trade-in. And while it's the best AM4 CPU for gaming, it's definitely not the best for productivity. This is honestly the best value for productivity and gaming. And I didn't want to just go ahead and just buy the CPU outright when I already had a 5800X3D. But I mentioned to Jeffy I was going to list my X3D chip on eBay for sale to buy this processor. And he offered to buy it from me. And part of the deal was he was going to have this one drop shipped right here, so I didn't have to deal with selling my old one or going without a CPU or having to order one out of pocket first. So he went ahead, had this one shipped here, and he's going to end up with my 5800X3D in his Bazite build, so he can basically say he maxed that system out for CPU. Now, while this is going to be much better overall for productivity, what I am worried about is I kind of hit the silicon lottery with my 5800X3D and my RAM kit, because I am able to run 4 sticks at above XMP. And I'm worried now that I probably won't even be able to hit XMP since I'm running 4 sticks. But we'll see. Alright, at this point I'll lose a little bit of memory speed in order to double my core count and my thread count. The only other thing I'm worried about is I currently only have a 120mm AIO, because this was kind of a spur of the moment thing. He literally ordered this like 2 days ago and it showed up here. So hopefully my 120mm AIO can work, at least for now. We'll get the CPU swapped out.
So render times were nearly cut in half when using the CPU for lossless AV1 encoding. Jordo's Radeon card does not support AV1, but using the CPU for AV1 gave us full original quality with a much lower file size than the GPU render in H.264 or 5. Making the CPU a massive upgrade for productivity while costing less than what the X3D chip sells for used. So moving on to gaming, we were expecting to see the same general max frame rate, but also see a hit to our 1% lows. But the one game Jordo regularly plays with his Discord members is Helldivers 2. Despite being a console port, the game scales across all the cores very well. Every core is between 18 and 25% when playing, which resulted in an experience that seemed much smoother and left plenty of CPU overhead remaining for streaming. When streaming the game, we taxed the CPU even more. The CPU was encoding everything in this scene while playing, and it did so at a much higher bit rate than we have ever achieved. In this scene, OBS is not only using the CPU to render the stream and game capture, but also the webcam and mini display we use to monitor the system usage. The CPU was running warmer than we would like here, but that was Jordo's paste application. He later repasted it, which resulted in much lower overall temperatures. The 120mm all-in-one may be holding it back a little, but after a repaste, a video render that maxes all the cores never resulted in temperatures above 80 degrees. Gaming usually sits in the 70s, which is fine all things considered. While this game is an outlier and most will not scale this well across more than 8 cores, it is one of the few games Jordo actively plays. Yes, if you want to play tons of games and chart the results, the X3D chip is the clear winner. But that doesn't matter for our use case. This is primarily a workstation, which in those tasks objectionably saw a performance uplift of over 44%. The one game he is currently playing the most sees an increase in performance, and the other games he occasionally plays he could tell no difference. And when streaming, the extra cores will help in every game and allow streaming at higher bit rates.
So that upgrade was totally worth it. The AIO, despite being only 120mm, is actually working quite well with a repaste. It's running really cool right now. I'm working on a project. This project, actually. I'm still rendering other scenes from it. But as you see here, my old motherboard is on the table. Now during the production, this motherboard finally, well, it didn't completely go, but it started showing me pretty soon it was going to go. Now this motherboard came in as a warranty exchange for a client, but the issues were very, very intermittent and only at post. So since the issues were so intermittent and only at post, I kept the motherboard for myself in my own build rather than having to go through the RMA process. But the issues have been happening more and more lately. I just, bit the bullet and went ahead and ordered a new to me X570 motherboard because I got it for a really good deal. Flashed the BIOS, everything's good to go. System is good to go. Now Jeffy already has the 5800X3D. We went ahead and installed that in his Bazite build. And the 3700X that he had in there now, we already have a new owner for it because I had actually started doing a video and I never finished it because the computer sold before I could get any good B-roll. I had just done a quick reel for Facebook and for Facebook Marketplace, and that immediately sold like within an hour. So I never finished doing the video. But the kid who bought it, and he wants the 3700X to upgrade the machine he just got for me. The 3700X that Jeffy had previously before my 5800X3D already has a new home. So I am super happy with it. I'm happy with the upgrade. I'm happy with the performance increase. But yeah, that is it for this low quality video. I will see you guys in the next one.
Jordo forgot to mention he was indeed able to run the XMP profile with the new board and CPU despite running 4 sticks. However, he was not able to manually tune it above XMP at 3600 like he could with the ROG board, but he has a faster, more stable system than he did before. Thanks for sitting through another low quality video, and if you like the content, consider subscribing.